This is the M Zone.
And welcome to the M Zone. Jamie Morris, Matt the Hitman Missler, best guy in the Bizzler, and you got Larry Lee, Big Sweet.
I got a new one. Welcome to the Hotel California.
Wow.
You can check out any time that you like, but you could never leave. Okay, all right.
Okay, all right. I know you're working on it. You got to work on that one. I mean, that's you can't get that high note. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Hey, everybody's, why is everybody all messing around and doing things? I'll tell you what.
Mess around.
We mess around one time when we just, we not on our game. We don't beat somebody by more than 40 points. You got to beat them by 1 point.
Hey.
And it happens. We went to Penn State, Happy Valley. We had, and Penn State brought it. They brought their game.
They did. They hung tough.
Game. They hung tough. They figured some stuff out.
Well, now, with now that you're as good as you are and people know you're as good as you are, they're marked now.
Yeah, Larry, I get it. But when you're this good and you look so good doing it all the time,
right?
Sometimes you're going to slip.
That's true.
You get the big head. Everybody gets the big head.
As long as the slip don't turn into a W.
Exactly. You can't take that. We didn't lose it. We needed to play it. We just needed to play it. You know what? I'm going to say this. We looked a little lackadaisical out there. You know what I'm saying? We didn't look like ourselves when we come out there. We weren't hitting our shots. We were throwing shots up, but we weren't hitting our shots. And then they wanted to take advantage of us. And you know what? I know their best player wasn't playing. They're going to say, we didn't have our best player on the floor, James. Right. I hear you.
Thank God.
Yes, thank God you didn't have your best player. Our best player, he's limping around.
Yeah.
He's a little stiff. Couldn't get up and down the court in the beginning. He had to flex out. But it took time.
You're going to have some slip-ups. What I meant to say is as long as it doesn't lead to a W, you can – I'm sorry, an L. I'm sorry, an L.
No, you're right. And you know what? I applaud Dusty May and what he did. He coached his team up. He got his team to close in ranks. And Yaxel Lindenberg, I got to give him credit. When they had that last possession coming down, he stretched them out. He stretched that young point guard out and pushed him back away from the basket so they don't get anything inside. Because, they were down by one. By one.
So with that being said, Jamie, that's what I try to prove when I bring up the word cerebral, because sometimes coaches have to make that difference. If your team is lackadaisical or this is not your team's night, what can you do as the coach who's not shooting baskets or who's not throwing touchdowns? You have to make the difference. And that's what but that's what a championship caliber coach does. He makes the difference up when he has to. And that's what Dusty May did last night.
No, you're right.
Dusty May was the cerebral difference in that game last night that a head coach needs to be.
No, you are right. You are right. We found out who was making shots, who was taking shots. Trey McKinney, he was making shots. That young freshman was making shots, leading the floor.
Yeah. So when I talk about cerebral and the coach making the difference, sometimes that's what I'm talking about. The coach has to be that difference maker when your team is struggling, because grit and the physical does not always work. So that's why you know my word. What's our word, ladies and gentlemen? Cerebral.
Wow. That was a cerebral win last night. I know it wasn't something the players thought that this was going to be that type of game. I think they were going to come out and they thought in their minds they was going to blow this team out. They was going to get after it. They was going to hit their shots, run up and down the floor on them. No, it just didn't happen. No. They just didn't have that kind of energy that was up and down. Penn State assumed that other energy. We're going to beat you. We're going to upset you. We're going to get ours. We're getting ours tonight. Exactly. I don't know how. I don't know when, but we're going to get ours tonight. And then they start feeling it. You could see that they were starting to feel it. And they got back into the game. Every time we pulled away, they just pulled right back in. They got closer.
That's the other point to be made here, is that now that you're known as an elite, then people are going to shoot their best shot. You're going to get everybody's best shot now. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as we've talked about it in the past, and especially when it comes to the Lions, with this schedule we had this year, they were going to get everybody's best. So that's when I need the coach to be the difference and be cerebral. And so we got the box scores up now?
Yeah, I'm trying to find a way to zoom it in so that everyone doesn't have to get like up close and personal with the screen right now.
I was getting close and personal, man.
I'm trying to, man. I'm trying to figure it out.
I'm finding my specs. Where's my specs?
Yeah, trying to find the sexy specs. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure it out. But I mean, the best way to say it is that thank goodness that their leading scorer wasn't playing in the game yesterday. But, you know, our top guy in terms of Yaks was dealing with his bruised calf. But good thing LJK son was still around. The bench helped out significantly, and that's one of the big stats actually. 33-25 in terms of points off the bench actually between Michigan over Penn State in that statistic. Fast break points 19 compared to 1 by Penn State. And there we go. Hey, I found the button. There we go. But here are the Michigan stats right there for you. Mo Johnson did foul out in the game. I think
he did foul out of the game.
That to me, I think, was the biggest problem for me.
They had foul problems going on too. You had Mara, he was having foul problems, and Johnson was having foul problems. And again, having Yaxel on one leg, and he played as hard as he could, but he had one leg and he had to go up and down. Right. Cadeau was doing what he could. He wasn't playing like he does hit those 3-point shooters. He was 1 of 5. So I mean, it was not a usual Michigan night.
No, but they still got the W. That's the
key. That's the key. You got to have games like this so you remember. Look, anybody can get beat on any given night if they don't watch out what they're doing.
Correct.
So this can happen to anybody, anytime. And, you know, I know, very proud of what these young men did last night. They held their ground. That's what I call holding the ground.
Yep.
When they knew that team and Penn State was getting that confidence every up and down. Every time they got the ball, they you could see that confidence getting bigger and bigger in them. And you know what? They didn't get it done though. Didn't get it done at the end of the game.
Yeah, I think there was definitely some time management issues for Penn State at the back end of things. I will say this, and I think the emotion part of things kind of also was influenced by this. This was apparently last night marked the 30th anniversary of the opening of the Bryce Jordan Center, which is the basketball arena for Penn State.
Yeah,
so
right.
So I think there was a little extra, gas in the tank for Penn State yesterday. But again, the last that last minute or so just was terrible ball and time management on Penn State's side of things. But again, a win is a win. You get out of there, survive in advance, whatever other analogies you want to go with it. But yeah, Michigan was able to take care of the business they needed to last night.
No, they were.
And guess what? It won't be the last time they'll see an effort like that because they're marked. They're marked now.
You're right. And everybody saw. Everybody saw that. That team's not invincible. I mean, we never said that they were invincible.
Yeah,
we just liked the way they play ball.
Yeah, we saw how they played in their last true road game when they went to Maryland, where they had some problems getting out the gates, but eventually in the second half they pulled away. That just did not happen in this game. I think that, you having Yaks being a little bummed in the leg right now, I think definitely is a huge impact on that. But I do think that every team, don't matter if it's Michigan, Arizona, Iowa State, Vanderbilt, whoever it may be, hell, even Michigan State and and Duke, there's going to be nights where things just aren't clicking the way that they should. And it wasn't clicking for Michigan, but they got the benefit of being able to outlast Penn State for 40 minutes. That was really the big thing right there, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Not as a negative to Michigan. I'm saying that, now that I'm saying it in a positive manner. Now that you're somewhat king of the hill, so-so Rands are going to come after you as well and give you their best effort now.
Yeah, everybody's going to come at you. Everybody's going to come at you. And that's just the way it's going to be.
You come for the king, you best not miss.
Exactly. I mean, everybody's going to come at you because they think that you're going to be had. This is the night they can be had. They think that they got the little sisters of the poor, and we're going to show them. Let's give them the effort, man. Let's give them the effort.
Yep, exactly.
And that's what. Hey, Penn State, they was right. They was right for hey, I'm telling you, they was right for the picket. They had a shot.
Yeah.
They did have a shot.
They did.
They was feeling it. They was posting up Mara. They was doing all kinds of things, getting Johnson, jumping into Johnson and doing all kinds of things. Steals, everything. And the Bryce Jordan Center, you're right, Miz. But I don't know if the fans remember that Bryce Jordan opened up a couple years ago because it wasn't that many there. I saw the one guy in the end zone.
Yeah, from I didn't get a chance to get home in time to catch the game, but from the broadcast perspective from Brian Bush and Terry Mills was that, yeah, there was probably 50-50 Michigan to Penn State fans. So there's a lot of maize and blue that were out there at over in College Park, over in State College. So yeah, people just probably, again, it's you've got one of the last place teams in conference right now that haven't gotten a win.
Right.
So it kind of makes you wonder, like, hey, is everyone just not caring about the basketball team? I mean, I know Penn State's not necessarily the basketball school or have had a history of successful action in college basketball in terms of men's side, and not even women for that matter either. But you would think, anniversary, it's technically number 2 team, according to the AP, number 1 in the Ken Palm rankings, that, hey, we could potentially see this. And they came close to doing something they've never done in program history, and that's beat a number 1 team in the country.
No, you're right.
They were just 2 points shy of tying it up. They tried to jack up a 3 to try to get the win, but just could not hit iron, and ball don't lie.
No,
ball never lie.
That young man, he was the force behind pushing that ball. He was the force behind the scoring those points. He was making it happen for them, man. They was doing it. They were doing a yeoman's job. You got to be impressed with what Penn State did too. I mean, the way they played up and down the floor, they played hard basketball. You can see those kids. They didn't lose. As Miz says, they haven't won a game in the Big Ten yet, but you wouldn't have known it because they gave an effort like no other, and they tried.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, that's one you're not gonna. That's one that got away. That's one. I'm gonna say this. That's one Penn State should have had. Should have had. You had everything was flowing in your way, and that's one they should have had. And Michigan pulled it out.
Pulled it out. That's what champions do.
So, everybody was like, "Oh, everybody saw what they weakened and everything." I'm like, "Yeah, one of your best players hurt. Leg is hurt. His calf is hurt." And we had some problems. I mean, matching up with them. Not a very big team in Penn State. No. Not a very big team.
But that depth on Michigan's team paid off.
Yes, the depth played off because you could go deeper into the bench
which is a testament to Dusty who had been playing, more than 5 or 6 guys.
Right. Yeah, he's been playing deep. I mean, deep into the roster, so it shows you that Michigan's got guys on the bench, and we've touted that early on in this early season that Michigan's got guys and they can go deep into their bench. And look, these guys appreciate one another. They don't fight about time on the court. They don't fight about scores or anything like that. They play as a team, and they're happy. They win as a team. So far, they win as a team. But I mean, whatever they went through it together. You could see that they were always together.
And a lot of times in sports, we always hear that cliche, "Next man up." Mm-hmm. Well, next man up is fine, but the next man up got to be prepared as well. So just to say next man up and all that is great, but Dusty May had the next man up prepared and ready because he had been playing 9-10 deep, all season long so far.
Right.
So that was a good thing, and it paid off for him last night. So
it did pay off for him. I mean, you wouldn't talk about and you know what? I found it to be funny. And you know what? One of these universities, as a young tyke growing up in Air, Massachusetts, I was, I'm from what they call the old Big East world. You know what I'm saying? When you had the Georgetown Hoyas, the Boston College Flying Eagles, you had Syracuse, the Syracuse teams. You had
the Orange Men.
And you had Seton Hall, St. John's. All of these great coaches and everything. Right. And, I turned my TV on and I'm watching, and a friend called me and said, "Are you watching this?" And I'm like, "Dude, why you calling me Mark?" He's like, "James, you got to check out the stat that they're showing." So in Chicago last night, Georgetown Hoyas played what was it? It was they played
Chicago.
Yeah, they were in Chicago. They played
Duquesne, DePaul.
No, DePaul. They played DePaul.
Okay. You're talking about the Georgetown game?
Yes, yeah. I'm talking about this, man. I can't believe this. And so I had to look it up when he told me. I said, "Get out of here." He goes, "Jamie, I am not lying to you. You need to check this out." I'm like, what are you talking about? So I went and looked this up, and I'm looking like Big East. It was the Big East. It's Georgetown versus DePaul. And the game, the final score of the game is 56-50. Mm-hmm. DePaul. Yeah. Okay. And I'm like, okay, that's okay. He goes, no, you got to get closer to the game, Jamie. You got to see it. I'm like, what do you mean I got to see it? And I looked at the score, and he said, look at the score of the game. And I looked at the score of the game, and I had to say this to Miz. In the second half alone, Georgetown was 1 for 23 from the field after halftime.
Yeah, that's not good.
Wow. 1 for 23?
1 for 23.
I believe the kids say that. I believe Charles Barkley would say, "That's terrible."
That's horrible. That's horrible.
TRBL, man. That team is terrible, man. That's bad basketball right there.
Oh,
Like that's some bad basketball if I've ever heard or seen anything like that before. Like, man, what is you doing out there, you knucklehead? Like,
if you do the math, and I'm not good at math, so I'm going to tell you what the man said. The man said Georgetown shot 4.3% in the second half of the game.
Well, like you said, what poor Coach Thompson.
Right. I said, Coach John Thompson, God rest his soul. He rolling over in his grave and says, "What are you doing in that game?"
I know.
And nobody knows that. Don't worry, nobody knows who he is. But I'm gonna say his name.
I was just going to say now. You've been getting on me about the OG names I'm throwing out there now. They should know Coach Thompson. I don't care. They should know.
Allen Iverson somewhere going, they didn't do practice.
Allen Iverson.
Practice.
I mean, some people know Allen Iverson. Some people know the answer.
They went out there, and they started messing around like it was practice.
Yeah,
not a game. Not a game.
Not a game.
Go out and play and put your heart out there for. Now they play like it was practice. I mean, they're outscored 24-15 points in the second half alone for Georgetown, guys. 15.
Wow. Yeah. What about I got another Junkyard Dog. What was his name? With the Pistons from Georgetown. Remember, what was his name? Played with the Pistons. He was from Georgetown, and his nickname was Junkyard Dog, JYD.
Jerome Williams.
Yeah. Now that's going back old school now.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't believe this. That's just terrible. It's just bad.
It's just horrible. That's just horrible.
I mean,
as E Boogie was saying on our YouTube chat, they shot a bunch of free throws. They went 13 for 18 from there, but it's this one right here, big dog. It's this one right here. Let me go ahead. Let me just zoom it in for you right here.
I see it.
Let me just zoom it in as far as I can zoom in here. 1 for 23 from the field in the second half alone.
Wow.
That's not good.
4.35%.
They got to get that specific. They gave them the 0.05 to go with it, man. We're not rounding it up.
They didn't round it up. They didn't
round it
give
up.
them the round up. They didn't say 4.4.
No.
I mean, that's just terrible.
We ain't rounding that ish up. No, we ain't. We ain't.
Where has Georgetown gone? My God.
Well, they were in Chicago, but whether they actually showed up to play is another question.
I mean, that was one of those Big East schools that you travel with. They won national championships. It used to be
Good
golly, Miss Molly. I know. Hey, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Georgetown, Patrick Ewing. Now they know that one. They know that one.
Yeah, trust me. Even some of the young bucks will know who Patrick Ewing is, and if not, millennials, my people, it's time to sit them down and teach them about the failures of New York Knickerbockers basketball and Patrick Ewing. It ain't just Kate Cunningham that's doing it. No.
Oh,
Patrick Ewing and the New York Knicks. They had to go through their problems themselves, but. Basketball-wise, when he was playing over at Georgetown, they were something else.
They were something else, and that was a team. And now, I mean, I'm just saying. These are bad times right now, but it's those cold days. It's probably they didn't warm up yet. They didn't get warmed up.
There's a lot of parity going on in sports these days. On every level of basketball, football, college football, pro football, a lot of parity. Okay. No, I don't think that dynasty, it's going to be hard to do a dynasty these days.
Don't touch me, I'm sizzling.
Yeah. I got you. I'm just saying. It's just,
It's just kind of the thing is that we see, like, I've known DePaul basketball has never as of late, at least in my time of knowing and kind of being cognizant of college basketball.
It was huge. It was huge in Chicago at one time.
At one time, yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you.
At one time it was. At one time it was. But then at some point, they must have realized, oh, big man in Detroit is paying attention to college sports. We need to suck. What the hell happened though? It's like
talking about old names. What was that DePaul player that was a beast back in the day? Big dude, Terry, something or another. He was a beast. He played in the NBA. Was all NBA.
He used to play at DePaul. That was good.
At DePaul, I think his name was Terry. He looked like a football tight end kind of guy. Built, man, big old. Was
Terry
it Terry?
Cummings?
Terry Cummings. Yes, he was a beast, man. He could have played some defensive end in his day, man.
Who else did Al McGuire? I'm not Al McGuire. What's the
Mark Aguirre?
Mark Aguirre came out of DePaul, didn't he?
Yeah.
Mark Aguirre was he came out of DePaul.
Yeah.
Him and Isaiah were great friends.
Oh yeah.
They were great friends out of Chicago. So look, there were some great players that came out of DePaul too. I'm not trying to dog out DePaul.
No, not in the least bit either. Like I'm not either.
They've had great athletes come out of DePaul, out of that school. I'm just saying.
I got to know Terry during the back in the day, the Lions and the Pistons, we shared the Silver Dome. So, we saw a lot of their practices and they saw a lot of our practices, and when the visiting team would come and practice, got to know them. One time I was walking down the tunnel leaving, and I did talk to Patrick Ewing. We talked, and he was asking about Lions and all that kind of stuff because they were in town to play the Pistons. And so those were some good days, man. We were sharing the Silver Dome and a lot of interaction between the basketball and football guys back then.
I mean, there's also a notable one with our hometown, with one of our hometown teams, the Detroit Pistons. Paul Reed.
Okay.
Paul Reed, yeah.
Paul Reed is probably one of the more local ones I think a lot of people would remember at the very least.
Just because we ain't talking about your team, be quiet.
Listen,
I'm talking about Eric.
I know.
I'm talking about Eric.
Trust me, I know. That's the only why. He's the one he's the one interacting in the chat.
I know. That's why I said.
You guys know I do not miss an opportunity to mention what? Dayton, Ohio.
That's right. Got to talk about Dayton, Ohio.
We had some pretty good basketball at the University of Dayton Flyers.
I mean, wait a minute. It's like Dayton, Ohio, like the middle of the country, because they try to play that college basketball play-in games, all of that into the game. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They always put them in. Yeah,
the University of Dayton. The University of Dayton Arena has held the.
It ain't. I mean, that ain't like the Taj Mahal or anything. It's not like it's Madison Square Garden.
Dayton, Ohio, Jamie. It's Dayton, Ohio.
I mean,
birthplace of aviation.
No, it ain't the birthplace of aviation. You need to stop that. You know what? You're gonna mess up the books and everything. Telling kids that
it's the birthplace of aviation. There you go. Cummings. Yeah, that was another DePaul. Yep.
83 to 87. We see you, Laurent.
Yeah, you got it, Laurent.
Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. But
that's funny. I get it. All I'm saying is Michigan basketball. You got a scare last night.
Sometimes you gotta eat some of that humble pie, and they had to eat that humble pie. It tastes like Oak Crow. But they were able to claw through. Now they just got to focus on what's coming up on, is it Saturday?
Saturday, yes, right?
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
The game against Wisconsin back at home. They're
good. They're still okay. They're good.
Wisconsin's good. Yeah, they're good. Don't worry. Everybody's good. We played Wisconsin already once, didn't we?
No, I don't think we have.
No. Okay.
Because we've only got we're 4-0 USC. Then we crud. Who the hell did we play? USC, Penn State, Maryland, and Rutgers was the other one.
Right. That's one. Yeah, Rutgers.
Wisconsin is just a one-off, but it's a good thing because it just seems like the Kohl Center just pops out of nowhere whenever Michigan goes out there, and they just get popped. Don't get it.
We do get popped there a little bit.
I don't know what it is. Like between that and the barn,
right,
up in the Twin Cities,
up at Minnesota. Yeah.
Which, speaking of which, they pulled off an upset of beating Iowa.
I couldn't believe, but wait a minute. They beat Iowa.
Yeah.
They did beat Iowa. We need to go to a break. We come back. We got more good stuff. You're listening to the M Zone on the Big 1050.
Clear on radio. Yeah, like you said, we were talking about that off the air about they come into the state of Michigan, they just got belts to ass the entire time, and well, now they're walking out here with their tail tucked between their legs.
Oh my God!
Goodness, Eric Musselman just like I don't ever want to hear the state of Michigan ever again. I'm fine with that.
No, they spend some time here, man.
Oh yeah, they do.
Wow.
Why am I getting college baseball stuff right now? Looks like college baseball's trying to infiltrate my feed right now, which
why?
I don't know. I'm not upset with it.
I'm just asking.
No, trust me. I'm just looking at it like, why am I getting college baseball chatter when it doesn't even college baseball doesn't start up, I think, until next, the neutral site stuff doesn't start until next month. Yeah, February 13th is when Michigan gets their season kicked off. And it's not going to be easy.
Trey Young. No, nobody wants Trey Young.
No one wants to deal with his money. 90 what? He's owed 90 because you and I talked about this before the show yesterday.
Right.
That he's owed like 95 mil, I believe is his contract.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he's made the talk like he wanted to go play with the Washington Wizards, which I just went, hold on. Someone needs to drug test this man if he wants to go play for the Washington Wizards.
No, he's just trying to live somewhere nice. That's all. He's trying to live somewhere nice.
Well,
he's not trying to get exiled. He's trying to live.
I'm just kind of wondering what
maybe that's what his wife wants. I always wonder what the wife wants. That's what
whatever wife you want. You try to go with whatever wife you want.
Right. I live in that area.
Well, technically, I mean, he's got a player's option for next year. So I mean, if I were him, I'd be looking at, like a playoff contender if I'm looking at something that way. But again, I don't even think the playoff contending teams want to try to take a fraction of that money. So I'm not sure.
But the DMV is a nice area to live in, isn't it?
Yeah, DMV is a great place to live in.
That's
It's
what I thought,
awesome. Yeah.
I've got no thoughts or opinions on that. I've only driven.
I love living in the Virginia side more than the Maryland side, but it was nice. It's nice.
Yeah,
I've only driven around it when I was working for Mr. Jack Roush back in the day. So
there you go.
About it,
That's nice.
And that was in a time where he was not too long after I started working there. That's when he decided to he wanted to be a little more aviary, so to speak, and it didn't work out all that well. But
all right, Larry,
that's a story for another time.
We're gonna need your expertise. This is your section. This is your time.
All right.
Because we're gonna talk about John Harbaugh and why after 18 years. And then try to set a narrative saying players wanted him out of there, but everybody was saying the players were saying great things about him still.
Yeah. Okay, we'll talk about it. Yep.
Okay, because we're coming back from break, so stand by, guys.
This is the M Zone.
And welcome back to the M Zone. Jamie Morris, Matt the Hitman Missler, this guy in the Missler, and you got Larry Lee. And this is why, listen, folks, this is one of the reasons we brought Larry on board, because we need to figure this out.
We need the businessman of the NFL, not just the guy that used to play for the Detroit Lions, but we need the front office man.
I ain't looking for no surreal. I ain't looking for all of that.
I want cerebral, but I want him to use every wrinkle of the brain, not just head first.
I tell you, I love you guys. I love you guys.
Did the Ravens make the right move, Larry? What I'm saying to you, 18 years. That man is giving you 18 years of his life, of his family, to live in Baltimore like that. All I'm saying to you is give some love back. Give some love back. Wait a minute. You had a kicker miss a damn field goal. You had a kicker miss.
Right.
Really? You were in the playoffs then, and you was going to keep him then, weren't you?
It sounds like you are of the opinion that it should have never happened.
Larry, all I'm going to say is loyalty values loyalty, okay?
Right.
When you win, we win. When you lose, we all lose.
So let's talk about it.
He's been there for a while. I get it. And he's only got one Super Bowl, but he's won the AFC. He's won that division many a times. He's the guy that said draft Lamar Jackson. He's the guy that said that.
Well, yes and no. I tell you what, I know about that particular draft because my buddy Ozzie Newsome, here's the thought behind the scenes story that I understand. That year he was coming out. Everyone in the league wanted to make him a receiver.
Right? Yeah.
They wanted to make him a receiver. And so now the draft is going, and Baltimore had like the 28th or 29th pick that year. Mm-hmm. They were way down, right? So Ozzie Newsome, in his infinite wisdom, decided, let me take this guy out of Louisville and slot number 28, I think it was, and allow him to be a quarterback. He wanted to be a quarterback. I want him to be a quarterback. So I remember I called Ozzie Newsome and said, kudos to you, Ozzie, for not thinking like everybody else, and look what this man has become as the quarterback. Now, that's one thing. But secondly, John Harbaugh, guys, great man, great coach, Super Bowl. Sometimes change can be good, Jamie. Sometimes change can be good. And by what I hear, when you hear the same voice at you for 18, 16 years, 7, 8, 10 years, it doesn't have the same impact necessarily as a new voice. Now, this is a gamble on behalf of Bashotti, owner. This is a gamble on his behalf. So sometimes change can be good. And I think it was time for change in Baltimore. Not in a negative sense because Harbaugh was not good or did not do anything, but one Super Bowl championship in 18 years.
I get it. But there's some, I'm going to say this, and I know this ain't a shot at anybody here in this city, around this city of Detroit, but that organization won a Super Bowl before the one here, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, that is a new team, really. You took that team that's the team that they took from Cleveland, moved it over to.
Remember in the middle of the night.
Right. Moved the other team moved at nighttime. The Ravens came, sat there, won a Super Bowl, and I'm just gonna say they celebrated and had a good time. It was a great time. I agree. If he did something wrong, yes, I ain't see the man do nothing wrong. From what I hear, yeah, you're gonna have players. Some players just don't like their coach. I get it. Some players do love their coach. But I get that the organization, the coach, they can get stale to one another. And I get maybe we need to bring in some new blood in the different. But what they did was they really got the coaching carousel just spinning now. Because everybody wants to talk to John Harbaugh. You made John Harbaugh some money if he wants to go that route.
We got an example.
Looks like the Giants want him. It's the most important thing around.
I think we got an example to look at in this case. Let's take our guy Andy Reid. Andy Reid had run his course in Philly. Right. He did his thing in Philly. Now he goes to the Chiefs, and look what he does there because it's a new environment. It's new, fresh for everybody, for the Chiefs and Andy. I don't know. I'm only speculating on this, but I think that we got one more of those coming up pretty soon.
Really? You still think there's something coming out of Pittsburgh?
I just got that. I just have a hunch that depending on what happens this weekend, especially if it's a loss.
But if they get that win,
he's still there.
Okay.
But if they get the loss, I think Mike Tomlin may take some time off to go do a year of broadcasting or nothing. And then, refresh. Like I got another example, not on the NFL level. What did your new coach just do?
What?
He took a break from Utah. Right. He took a break from Utah and just to catch his breath and go ride his motorcycle and everything. And now look at him.
You're right. He was sitting. He was going to sit back, and chill. Take that new AD position they was going to give, assistant AD position that they was going to give. They're going to give him a window and a desk and let him sit back and let him do his thing. I get it.
So, I love John Harbaugh. I think John Harbaugh is a classy man, a classic guy.
When you look at John Harbaugh, though, I mean, you nobody figured him in. Agents and teams didn't figure he would be available. I mean, he was kind of like an untouchable.
Yeah.
He's that kind of coach. He's been there for a long time. A lot of people said, they're not going to let him go.
But untouchable, no coach is untouchable, Jamie.
Ooh.
No coach is untouchable.
There was a lot of untouchables for a long time.
Maybe a Nick Saban was untouchable.
No, I'm not saying Nick Saban. There's a lot of untouchables in there. Andy Reid is not touchable. Andy Reid is untouchable right now. No, Jamie. I disagree. In the NFL, there is no coach that is untouchable in the NFL. That man has done. You know how many times they've been to the Super Bowl? How
Yes.
many times he been to the Super Bowl?
That's
How
my
many
boy.
times he won?
Andy's my boy. I talk to Andy not regularly, but whenever Andy does something,
I'm
he'll
saying
I'll
this.
text him.
Hey, ask the Hunts how long it took them to get back to the Super Bowl from the 1960s. Just remember that.
No, I love where we're going right now because let's take our hometown team. 2 years ago, when we was in the NFC Championship game, that's when we needed all the hands on deck, perfect everything, and we blew it.
Don't
Now we're not there.
don't be using my no. And that coach, I'm not going to say he's untouchable, but he damn near untouchable.
Unfortunately, he's
damn near.
Someone posed this question to me. Let me pose it to you guys. If you're the Lions and John Harbaugh says, I would love to come there, what would you do? Would you stick with Dan or would you bring John Harbaugh in?
Wow. See, that's a tough one. So I got a choice between John Harbaugh or Dan or Gambling Dan.
Someone posed that question to me. A friend of mine said, Larry, someone that used to work at the Lions, I'm telling you, said, Larry, if Harbaugh said he would love to be at, which he wouldn't do because he's not that kind of guy.
No, he's
but
not.
But if he said, I would love to come to the Lions as the head, what would you do? Would you consider
I'd take Harbaugh in a heartbeat. I'd take him in a heartbeat.
Okay.
Because he's been there before. He's been there before. He's been there. He knows. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. Now, tough one for you is what team is ready made for John Harbaugh?
Giants.
Everybody's saying the Giants. Everybody's saying the Giants.
Tell me who you thinking?
Because Jackson Dart. But I'm thinking this. The Raiders, because you're gonna get the homeboy from Indiana. The Raiders got the first pick.
Yeah, you're gonna get Fernando.
Heisman Mendoza.
And you're gonna get Mendoza. You can draft Mendoza and start your program off with a first top-notch quarterback, young top-notch quarter. And the teams, let me give you a little history. The teams, the key to NFL success somewhat now is to find you a Super Bowl caliber quarterback still on his rookie deal. I.e., what's the name when he was in Russell Wilson when he was in Seattle?
Yeah, Russell Wilson.
There was another couple, i.e. Jackson. I mean, not Jackson. I.e. Who was in the Super Bowl? First, the quarterbacks on their first deal in the Super Bowl. There's 2 or 3 other examples. That's the key to the NFL right now. So, if I'm the Raiders and if I'm John Harbaugh, I know the rest of the team looks so, but I got a chance to draft the top quarterback coming out and live with this quarterback. Now, the Giants might be more ready-made than the Raiders right now because they have more than just Jackson Dart. They got, Scatterboo and whomever and all them guys.
Yeah, they got
the linebacker from Penn State, Carter and all that. So toss up between everybody's just saying Giants, and that makes sense. I'm not denying that, but I wouldn't count out that Raider possibility for John Harbaugh. I really wouldn't, because you're going to have the top pick at quarterback, and if you can get a quarterback on his rookie deal, taking you to the Super Bowl, that's the ideal situation, man. That's because now once he goes to that second contract. Now the money's getting crazy and all of that, and now you got to make some decisions. But if he's on his rookie deal, you got a chance to spend that money elsewhere and still get to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I like that.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I got to ask these questions because, John Harbaugh is in the thick of everything, and he's talking to everybody.
And he would be a great coach in a lot of places. There's a lot of positivity to John Harbaugh. I like him. He's a good man, good coach and everything. But I think his voice has just run a little stale in Baltimore. And you talk about, I'm bringing back some memories, man. I remember going to the league meetings back in the day, and this was my first league meeting going to, and the way they do it, they have all the GMs and presidents and CEOs at the big table, and then the outer ring are the vice presidents and the next level subordinates. So I'm on the outer ring, and I'm sitting next to Bisciotti. Bisciotti was trying to become the owner of the Ravens, so he had to give a presentation at the league. I'll never forget it. It was in Palm Springs at the league meeting. And I was thanking the good Lord. I said, "Wow, Father, I'm at the league meetings, and there's so and so. There's Jerry Jones. There's I'm in the same room in the meetings and all that. It was a great moment for me. But I was sitting next to Bisciotti. He was cool. He was fun. He was a nice guy, and he eventually got in, obviously, and owner of the Ravens for a long time. So good stuff, man. So I think it was just time. It's time for Harbaugh to move on. He's going to land somewhere else, and I believe he will be successful wherever he goes. And it's just time. And I don't know. I don't have any inside information or anything, but I think another one is coming too.
Okay. All right. You thinking another one's coming too? I mean, yeah, look. Pittsburgh, I mean, they just got to get that 40-year-old to win a game. You got to win a game.
The only thing that'll be tough for Mike T is, the Steelers have only had 3 coaches in their history, and they've been so good to him that he would have to have a good discussion with them to decide to walk away, and they got to pretty much decide that it's time for change, just like Baltimore did, and maybe he and Harbaugh are twins since they've been the 2 longest tenured guys in the league and gone against each other. Maybe Mike says it's time for me to step down because my boy is down too. This perfect timing. He and I both ride off into the sunset till our next venture. So I got a hunch. Like I said, I don't have any inside information on that or anything. I just got a hunch.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people got a hunch, and a lot of people think that John Harbaugh. It was a big hit to the folks because they didn't expect that, and I would not expect if I saw Mike Tomlin.
Well, some of them wanted it though. Some of the fans did, by what I understand, that
the fans were ready for the move, I think, but not the players and not surely not the other teams. Not the other teams saw that coming.
Yeah. Well. Also, what didn't help matters was I get them mixed up. McDonald and McDaniel, who left them and went to the Seahawks, and look at the success he's having.
Right. I mean, Mike McDonald.
That didn't bode well. That didn't bode well for Harbaugh either. Okay, we had a guy under our staff who was with us. First year, he's number one seed in the conference out there.
It was John Harbaugh who sent him to Michigan to hone his skills, and then brought him back.
Yeah,
and sent Jesse Minter to us, who got his stuff. And now this is Mike McDonald's is showing everybody that Jesse Minter is ready to go. He's ready to go. So
you brought up a great point, I had forgotten about the Michigan Harbaugh relationship. Well, I should have thought about that, because not only that, you got Wink, right? Wink did time at the Ravens, right?
Wink was the designer of this defense, this Ravens defense. So I mean, there's something there. There was something there at the time.
Yeah.
So I mean, look,
why did not put 2 and 2 together with Harbaugh?
They are brothers.
I'm usually pretty more cerebral than that.
Did you see how many Iowa State players are going out the tunnel? I mean, are they
trying to follow their coach to Penn State?
They're all going to Penn State.
Yeah, 19 of them.
19 of them?
Yeah, I believe I saw that stat on Twitter today, was that 19 Iowa State Cyclones hit the portal and came out going to Penn State to join Matt Campbell.
So not 19 coming out, 19
players. Yes, 19 came through.
Mm-hmm.
They made it through.
Wow.
Yep.
That's just crazy. I'm sorry. It's sorry.
That whole college deal is a wild west right now, man.
That's something else. We're going to talk with John Borton about that on the other side. Our guy from the Wolverine magazine, Wolverine.com, and see what he's hearing.
So I haven't had the chance to keep up. Has how many Utah guys are headed to Ann Arbor?
There's 2 today, I think, headed here. I think there's a corner, and I think there's
the prize guy is that D lineman, right?
Yeah, the edge rusher. The edge rusher.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, the
edge rusher.
Yeah. Yeah, they're so specific these days.
Nowadays they are. You can't just call them defensive. Edge rusher does not want to be called a defensive lineman.
Jamie, I had to play guard, center, snap, snap punts, field goals, and everything.
Offensive line. That's what you play. Offensive line.
Now there's special.
Exactly. Nowadays, was you a guard or a tackle?
I played center, guard, some tight end, some H-back, some fullback.
There you go. Nowadays is what position you? What do you mean what position? I play offensive line. Well, what do you line up as?
Hell, Jamie, I had to play, start, and snap punts and field goals. Now specialists are just snappers. You can make $1 million in the league as a snapper. I go to the NFL and just snap punts and field goals and be happy as a lark.
Well, we need to go to a break. We come back. We come on the other side. We got the book himself, John Borton from the Wolverine magazine, Wolverine.com. You're listening to the M Zone on the Big 1050.
Clear on the radio.
Thank you, sir. Oh, Michigan's trying to get a defensive tackle out of Pitt, and they're going after a kicker. We got the long snapper yesterday. Just letting you know, keeping you up to date.
One too is Cole Sullivan. I mean, if you look on the bottom scroll, that Cole is out of the portal going to Oklahoma, but it sounds like one of Oklahoma's
just jumped out too. Yeah,
and it sounds like it almost seems like a trade.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is there anywhere that how much did this long snapper sign for?
I don't know, but I'll find out. I can find out. That'd make me go to sleep.
You go night night.
Oh, Ravens.
To me, like if you wanted him to go coach somewhere to start to start anew, yeah, I think Vegas is the right place to go. But I just think, again, I kind of bring up age into this aspect of things. He was coaching the Ravens for 18 years. He's in his mid 60s now, mid to late 60s kind of thing.
Right.
To me, I think the best fit, like I said, where you got guys that are ready to go, not just Jackson Dart, but Scadaboo's been outstanding. You got a young core on defense to go with it. And if you're able to find a way to, since Wink isn't here in Michigan, maybe you get him to reconnect and go up to the Meadowlands. I'm sorry, New Jersey, and go and coach over there. Yeah, I messed up. Yeah, I said what I said, but listen, just like how Larry is OG, I keep it OG stuff too.
That is so funny. Oh my God. Okay. Did you guys see that article I sent you? About Sharon?
Possibly.
Yeah.
The Sharon Moore scandal.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did see that one.
I mean, it's a good article. I'm not saying anything. I'm just
right. Yeah.
When people ask me why I'm always angry when I see this and everything, I'm like, well, it setbacks the people that come after them.
Oh, that's exactly it.
That's the problem.
I don't ever want to say that or keep that kind of mindset, but unfortunately that's the case.
It's the worst. It is the worst. And everybody says, well, how come there's not really many in the South, Jamie? African-American quarterback. It's like, really? It's like the South.
You got to ask that question.
Really?
Right.
You have to ask that question.
Really?
It's still,
you
know, racism is alive and prevalent. It's not gone anywhere.
That's all we'll say.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. We got JB on hold, so stand by, guys.
It's still alive and prevalent.
This is the M Zone.
And welcome back to the M Zone. Jamie Morris, Matt the Hitman Missler, best guy in the Bizzler, and you got Larry Lee over on the west side of the United States. And joining us, our man, our myth, the legend, the book himself, John Borton from the Wolverine magazine, Wolverine.com. Hey, John, how are you? I haven't talked to you since all the changes that went on down at Schembechler Hall. How you doing with that?
I'm doing all right. It's been a minute. Yeah. Now all of a sudden we've got Salt Lake City West. Or East rather.
East. John, John, does it is this the court is this the coach that you is he the guy? Is this the guy that you believe, or you need to give it some time to think about? I mean, let it evolve a little bit.
I really don't need to give it time, Jamie, and I'll tell you why. Given the situation that Michigan was in, I believe that they came up with the best possible coach that they could have that was available. I just flat like this guy. I like how what he does fits so well into what Michigan has traditionally done when Michigan is at its best.
Right.
I like the fact that he emphasizes his program. I love the coordinators that he has brought in.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be top notch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, I feel like I got a little hint of Bo coming through here. And I like that a whole lot.
Oh.
Because I think I think that that Kyle Whittingham may be the closest thing to a Bo presence in Schembechler Hall since Schembechler was around.
Wow. I mean,
yeah. Can you explain further?
Well, because you can have coaches and you can have very good coaches, and I think Michigan's had some very good coaches. And then you can have a guy that has such a presence that commands the room in a way that you automatically listen. You automatically pay attention. And when Kyle Whittingham, with his record and his approach, says, when you come here, you're going to be us. We're not going to be you. You are going to become us. That sounds like somebody that knows he's in charge, knows what he's doing, and will have full attention from moment one in that team room. And I think at this point, that's this team, this program needs that.
No,
I really do.
Right.
I think they've been shaken in a lot of ways.
You're right.
In their belief and their faith and everything else. And you want a strong hand. I think they've got it.
Awesome. Okay.
And you know what? That's the thing about this coach coming here. It was and yes, I think it was a great clean break from what we had the years before. I'll agree with that from a standpoint. Kyle Whittingham was a guy that I talked about on the radio, but I mean, there's a lot of people out there trying to take credit for Kyle Whittingham. Who gets the credit, John?
Well, I wasn't in the room when all the calls were being made, but you certainly have to give credit to the athletic director,
okay,
and whoever else signed off on this.
Right.
I mean, they were a part of it, and I get the fact that Michigan's doing its own internal look at things, and I get that, and we'll see what turns out in relation to what was taking place before Kyle Whittingham signed on, but. I think that other people might have had significant input. I know that there were that Ward Manuel listens to people beyond himself and the wall.
No,
so,
you're right. You're right. I know that there's a lot of people like this coach, and everybody's saying nice things about this coach. I just wanted to get your opinion because you've been around a few coaches now, John. I used to just say you've been around a couple coaches, John. Now I got a few more coaches, John.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy. It's crazy. I never actually covered a Bo Schembechler team,
right?
But the Wolverine was formed in the year as he
was
went
exiting.
into retirement,
right? When he exit,
and he wrote the letter. I don't know if I've told you this before, but he wrote a letter to Michigan fans that was on the inside cover of our first ever magazine. Told people, "Hey, get this."
Wow. Really?
In a way,
you guys got him to write a letter?
Wow.
He wrote a full letter, full page, inside cover in that first issue, and told Michigan fans to get it. And ever since then, he always had taken a great interest in it. He was just he was attuned to it. I remember, back in those days, we could get into Schembechler Hall beyond the just the little media meeting room, and I'd be walking down toward the coach's office past his open office, and you hear that bull voice.
Oh my God! Now you're giving me
get in here.
Oh my God!
Get in here. And say, "What's up, Bo?" And he would by then he was retired.
Right.
So it wasn't all, he was going to give you a little business, but he'd just spin stories, and he would want to know. And he told me one time, he says, you know what I like about that magazine? And I said, no, what, Bo? And he says, you guys put everything in there, the good and the bad. We know you like us. But you put everything in there. And it was just
let me say, you know what I love about all you guys? You all imitate Bo perfectly.
Well, we tried because we were with him. It's hard to be.
Yeah.
You ever met somebody you were so afraid of, and you wanted to see him, but you didn't want to see him?
My father, yes, I know.
That's what I'm saying. That's the kind of guy. As John was saying, I was trying to sneak around. Hey, go in there and make some noise so I can keep going. Morris, get in here. As soon as I hear me, I'm like, oh my God, Morris, get in here. But that's just the way he was. And you're right. And look, Kyle Whittingham, if you're giving him that kind of introduction, John, I like this man already. I do. I like him.
Well, that's the feel that I get. It's unfair to say anybody is Bo.
No.
Bo.
I'm not saying you're saying he's Bo, but he's Bo-esque.
Yeah, I get those vibes every now and then. And he himself talked about watching Bo and Woody go at it when he was a kid, and how that drew him in to the whole winged helmet and everything else. And Michigan was definitely one of the places that he was going to listen to if they called once he stepped down at Utah.
Here's the one thing that's bothering fans. The one thing that bothers Michigan fans is him being nice to oh boy, what's his name? Urban Meyer. They don't take, and he does it because I said, well, he coached under Urban, and it's kind of no, James. He's got to stop that. He's got to stop that now. He can't just say he's a good friend and everything. He's got to learn. He's got to figure out that Urban lied to him or something, Jamie. I'm like,
at least he was honest when he was asked the question, do you hate Ohio State yet? He says, not yet. I guess I got to learn how to hate them. Remember, that was kind of
you asked those same fans, did you ever ask Bo if he hated Woody Hayes? He'd look right at you and say, no, I love that man.
He would have said he loved that man. He loved that man.
Yeah. And he said, I'd do anything to beat him. And it's the same. I regard it the same way. Heck, he got Urban Meyer to say how much he respects Michigan.
Right. He did. Urban Meyer says he does respect Michigan. So, people should say, out there, remember, we may act like we hated one another, and when we're on a field, yes, we do. But when we come together, it's too. No.
That sounds familiar, brother.
No. We don't have after parties after a football game. We're not doing that.
That sounds familiar, brother.
I like the folks that were asking Urban if he was going to be called in and be an analyst for Whittingham, a special envoy, and Urban was waving that off in a hurry. But I get it. They worked at the same place and they worked together, and so it's hey.
And they did something special. They did something special at that place too. So together they coached together and they did a great job. That being said, John, okay, so this NIL, what are you thinking about it, John? It's at its full tilt right now, baby, and it's gonna something's gonna blow up or something's not gonna work, John. I'm telling you, this thing is hot and ready now.
I think a lot of people feel like it's not going to work, or that it is. What I keep hearing is this is not sustainable. And I can believe that because it's out of sight. You're hearing about quarterbacks getting multi-millions and all of this. And
this
who
is
can
all
outbid
Lane
each
Kiffin, that
other.
quarterback. If it's a quarterback, it's Lane Kiffin. He's trying to get every quarterback in the country.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's, you know, if okay, well, you're going to outbid the program that, you know, has a $40 million roster or a $45 million roster. Where are you kidding me? I mean, it just I don't know where it's going to end, but it has to be reined in somehow and curbed, because I just don't think it's sustainable, and I don't think it's good for the sport. And I think a lot of people agree with that, but they're not sure what to do about it right now.
I think the law of diminishing returns is going to affect Lane Kiffin one day. You know, karma, whatever you want to call it, is going to affect this man. You know, if the national championship was the goal, he was closer at Ole Miss than he's ever been before. So that proved to me that the national championship was not his main goal. It's all about the dollar, which, I mean, if that's his goal, then he accomplished it. But
he's getting paid for every time Ole Miss wins, he still gets paid.
I think that's
the championship. They'll win it. He'll get the money. LSU's paying him the money too.
That's crazy. I think that's part of the karma that he's getting from Ole Miss. Why Ole Miss is determined to do well. I think maybe the buck stops now, but man, you know, if the national championship was the goal, he was closer there than he's ever been, and he left in the middle of it, which is.
I hear you. It says something about something now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And
Amen.
I will say this. I will say this. I never thought I could cheer harder against LSU than I did under the previous coach. But I think I will now.
Great point.
Wait a minute. Do you realize I'm getting topsy-turvy over Lane Kiffin? When I saw that ESPN piece that he was at peace now, he's in Ole Miss, he's there, he's lounging back, he's raising his children, he's doing all kinds of things. I felt sorry for Lane Kiffin. Then all of a sudden, he starts winning at Ole Miss, and it's all working out, and he gets this kid from Ferris State, and they're winning. And I'm like, that's good for Lane Kiffin. I hope he does really well. Next thing I know, he wants to go to LSU, and I want to take all my players with me and my coaching staff.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Got to look Lane Kiffin right in the eye and say, I knew Kurt Signetti. I worked with Kurt Signetti, and believe me, you're no Kurt Signetti.
No. There's a word I used a few weeks ago on the air. I spelled it out about some coaches. Starts with a W.
Yeah. We know.
All right,
so, John, I got to ask you. I mean, we've been kind of crazy sitting around watching that basketball team doing its thing. And John, everybody, I'm sure there was TVs turned on around the country to see how Michigan was going to play against Penn State last night. And wow, that was a game and we won it, but that was a struggle though too, John. Wow.
That was a big time struggle. And you know what? I was all ready to talk about and write about the fact that Michigan experienced its version of a cliffhanger had it hung on and won by 15, which it got up by in the second half.
Yes,
that would have been a cliffhanger for Michigan, given what it's done lately. But they went the next step and gave us a real cliffhanger. I mean, when it was 1 point or 2 points, and you got that final shot, I'm telling you, for as crazy of a shot as it was.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that threw it up, it was somebody that had been hitting everything in sight. And for as awkward as that motion was, in part because of the defense against him, he hit the back of the rim. And
he did.
It could have gone with being a couple inches shorter. It was just, no, you haven't seen that. And we had gotten quite used to 100-point games, 30-point wins, all this kind of thing. But this was a good reminder for Dusty May's crew. I don't think he wanted necessarily the the cardio stress that was involved with it, but his team knows for sure you better not take anybody lightly. You better not write anybody off or think you're just going to cruise to a win. And, Axel Lindenborg afterwards said they probably took Penn State lightly. And, okay, there you go. Now Dusty May has all the teaching lesson that he needs to push this team going forward, because if you let up even a little bit and a team starts muscling you and you start making mistakes and then miss some key free throws and turn the ball over and get a little pressured, nobody cares that you've scored all those 100-point games. Purdue or Penn State didn't care last night. They're one shot away from taking you down and being national news. So, and everybody else that you face in the Big Ten is going to feel that same way. You know what? This team, look what they did against Penn State. Let's take a look at what Penn State did. Let's push them. Let's make them make turnovers. Let's get after them and hit their weak spots. And if they're not 100%, we can take them. You know that's going to be the talk out there now.
Yeah. I mean, John, they gave a blueprint. If you look at it, they gave a blueprint out to the Big Ten. Kinda. I mean, if you get them right, I mean, if you get them where you had them, where Penn State had them, who says that every team's going to miss that shot?
Oh, yeah. Somebody's going to make one. Or somebody is going to get that home court whistle at the end that will that send that guy to the free throw line for 3 shots there at the end to win it, or something will happen if you allow that. This is a team in Michigan that has been exceptional in that. I mean, I've seen a lot of teams, and I've seen a lot of good teams, and a lot of teams that'll get up by 15, 20, and then just kind of, okay, this put it on cruise control and maybe get the lead cut under 10 and everything, but then win it. This team, to this point in the season, they're up by 10. They want to be up by 20. They're up by 20. They want to be up by 30. You didn't see that last night as much, and maybe that was in part a function of their mental state of mind going in. Okay, this is one that we should win, and maybe they just some things happened. You had guys having an off night. We haven't seen Merez Johnson Jr. have a night like that where he was almost taken out of it.
Right.
He was in foul trouble. He was not able to operate and be himself effectively. And so you didn't have the complete dominant front court. And when you get down the stretch, Adai Mara hit a big free throw down towards the end, but he also missed the front end of 1-and-1s that, and I know he's working hard at it. Dusty May talks about this all the time. He's got a good stroke there, but it's in his head. And the more he starts to put teams away with those free throws, instead of giving them the idea that, hey, we can foul this guy down the stretch and it might be like a turnover, then that's something that you can't afford. It's like they need him on the court for the defense and for all that he gives this team, but you've got to be able to knock in enough free throws that people aren't going to start to take their liberties.
John, quick question: Do you think this, like the effort from last night, do you think it could be just true road games? Because we've seen this now, at least in one other road game with the TCU game down there in Fort Worth, but we also kind of saw a little slow start for the team when they went out to College Park against Maryland. Eventually they ended up blowing out Maryland in the game, but it didn't seem like they were their usual, gel together self in the early part of these games.
Well, let's face it, true road games in the Big Ten are not going to be easy.
No,
they never are going to be easy.
Especially not at Purdue.
The difference in this one was, I mean, you referenced the Maryland game. Take a look at that game. Yeah, they absolutely, they're down almost double digits in the second half. And so they were getting pushed, but that was in part Maryland playing out of its mind. But you could see Michigan in that game flip a switch and say, enough's enough. And they turned it on and still won by 18. In this game, Michigan's up by 15, and they didn't push and take that next gear that gets them to 20 or to 22 or whatever, and then it kind of breaks their will, and it started to slip, and it kept slipping. So, the more that built, the tougher it was. So, yeah, they're going to have more close games on the road, but they need to have better execution and better fight when that happens, or else, one of these times or a couple of these times, when it starts to slip, it will slip just enough to put something in the right hand side of the column other than the 0.
Yeah. John, really appreciate you coming on, being a part of the M Zone, as always. It's good. Happy New Year to you, by the way, because I can say that to you. You're the last person that I'll be saying that to, because I'm not saying Happy New Year to anybody else the rest of the year.
All right. Well, we're going to have a Happy New Year. I appreciate you guys, and thanks, as always, for having a conversation.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
That's John Borton from the Wolverine magazine, Wolverine.com. Check it out. Bo Schembechler wrote a letter for it.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you guys caught that on the bottom scroll there, because I've been kind of updating some of the top stories, but we got an announcement earlier on during the segment that Andrew Sprague is going to be returning back.
Yeah, he's coming back. Yes, I forgot about that.
Yep.
So that's good.
a lot of guys. Guarnero's coming back. Evan Link
it's
coming
everybody.
back.
What is it? LFG
147.
147? Yeah. So good. Let's
wait a minute. What is LFG 147?
Let's freaking go.
The F is a little more derogatory.
Let's freaking go.
Okay.
More than that, you can't say it on the radio.
T147. That's what it is. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
And quick question: when is the last day? When is it the last time you should say Happy New Year?
Well, you could say it until the end of January. I tell everybody end of January.
That's a little long, isn't it?
January, end of January. Some people say they can say it until May. Okay,
no,
so I'm not going that far deep. I'm gonna give you to the middle.
I'm talking like the first 10 days or something. After
Friday,
that,
I said this Friday is my last day of telling anybody Happy New Year. And it's a nice day. Yeah.
Miz, what do you think, Miz?
I think to me, I think it's I think you got like at least like the first couple weeks, especially if it's someone that you're used to saying, to seeing or talking to on a regular basis. So like, John, a good example, saying Happy New Year to you,
right?
Because we haven't chatted with him, since 2025.
Right.
So I mean, we're getting everyone that we usually talk to out the way. After that, it's like, all right, whatever. Have a year. Have a year, whatever.
I think it's a good way to break the ice too. Happy New Year. Everybody say that to break the ice to get the conversation started.
You know how Eddie Murphy would say, "Merry New Year." Just say it. There's all kinds of ways to say it. Oh,
just wondering. That just
listening to the M Zone on the Big 1050.
Clear on radio.
Around, I got to do some things. I'm gonna stay on with you for maybe 5 minutes, and then I got to get in the car and drive. It's daddy daycare. I lost my babysitter, so I got to run home. So
I got to.
I know. I told Miz you're leaving. You're leaving at like 5:30, right? 5:30.
Right.
Okay,
right.
I got you. He got you.
Find a way to make it work.
We're gonna make it work. All right. I know Mama she's like got her clock on me right now.
Unless I could do it on the car in the last half hour in the car on the way to the doctor.
I mean, that's on you and Miz. That ain't me.
Okay.
Don't worry about
Miz can work that out. Miz
you
can
go
work
focus
that
on
out.
making sure that everything is
good. Yeah, because you on the LA freeway. Boy, what's wrong with you? Is you crazy?
Hey, that's the only time I could get this doctor's appointment. It's a follow-up appointment with this doctor.
I got you.
You know, an ounce of prevention.
I got you. Yeah, but yeah, well, like I said, 5:30. You can dip out, and then whoever we have on the phones, or I'll interact with chat and kind of go.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of which, in the meantime, chat, we're going to go on a break. So we will talk with you guys on the other side of the break.
Your message and reached out to the Shelter District to see what they are doing and if tickets will be moved. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jason.
This is the M Zone.
We're back here on the M Zone, the Big 1050 WTKA online, thebig1050.com. Jamie is got daddy duty, so he's bouncing out of here.
Daddy, chill.
Wait. Welcome to the Big 1050. You got the big man Missler and Larry on the west side of the state. Larry.
Right.
That checks out right there. That's everything right there of a big JMO thing. But yeah, Jamie had he's got daddy duty, so he's gonna be bouncing out of here. Yep. So that's right. Just like Strike Son 24 said on YouTube, saying he's being super dad JMO. So he's dipping out here a little bit on the early side to go take care of that. And I know at 5:30 you got to take care of your own business as well, Big Sweet. So we figure you and I can chat at least for a little bit. Maybe Jamie will pop on the hotline and join us on the phone or whatnot. But Lisa, we'll play it by ear at the very least.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So with all these, you got a thought about this next segment, because there's plenty of NFL news going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly the news ticker never ends when it comes to the NFL. So I think we can segue to that NFL, because there have been a little bit of news of some players going committing to the draft or declaring for the NFL draft. What's his name? Caleb Downs from Ohio State announced that he was going to go along with the quarterback from Alabama, Ty Simpson. So a couple of guys are entering their name in the draft. But I mean, what's on your mind, Big Sweet, when it comes to the NFL right now? This is
that hiring. Now that we've had the firings, the hirings are next. And so with the hirings being next, I'd love to chat about. And I don't know if there is a question of the day already, but who you think should end up in some of these jobs, or who would you like to see? Because remember when Michigan was looking for our coach, I kept saying the same names get tossed around, and people don't really think outside the box, or either look diligently into certain names. It's like a carousel of certain names. So I'm trying to see if the NFL is going to follow suit and do the same kind of thing, because everyone's always predicting that coaches that, especially long-tenured coaches like Harbaugh, have a job already. And he might. And he might have somewhere, or can definitely go somewhere. But that doesn't allow for new blood to enter the equation anywhere. Somewhere. Sometimes new blood can be good as well, but I know there is a strong need to win right now, and so people think the easiest way to do that is through an experienced coach. But at some point in time, these experienced coaches got their first shot. You know what I'm saying? So what made you, as a Pittsburgh Steelers ownership, land on a Mike Tomlin? I happen to know that one particularly well. But, what made you, as a Baltimore Raven organization, hire the special team coach John Harbaugh 18 years ago? What went into hiring these guys that become winners? Like, for instance, the Seattle Seahawks look like champions right now, because they picked the right first-time head coach to head up their organization, and they got the number one seed. So necessarily that an old veteran coach, is not always the answer. And sometimes I wish organizations thought more outside of the box. To get new blood in there.
I totally agree. I mean, when we got Jamie on the hotline with us, so we'll bring him in on with this as well.
And welcome to the Big 1050. We got Jamie Morris.
But I mean, if you want to go with something even more current, I mean, you take a look at one of the 7 head coaching spots right now, giving Raheem Morris the opportunity to take over when because he took over halfway through the season some years back to take over Atlanta, and I thought he was a great fit down there. I thought he was a great fit in Atlanta. So I granted that finishing the year 8-9, definitely not palatable, but obviously it shows that 8-9 is winnable for a division crown in the NFC South. But I didn't think
this year.
But I didn't think he did a bad job, though. I didn't think he did that bad of a job where it constituted him getting terminated. Jamie, go ahead, Jamie.
He didn't. I mean, you're right, Miz, but they messed up when they brought Kirk Cousins in, and then went and got a quarterback in the top 10. I mean, that's still one of the dumbest moves you're going to do. You got to pay all that money to Kirk Cousins,
right?
All guaranteed. And then you're going to play, and I get it. He's got a rookie contract and everything. And if you're looking at it, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense because you need to concentrate on other positions of your team if you got your quarterback now and in the future. And it doesn't look like they were looking towards that because when Cousins got hurt the second year of Penix's second year, they went right to Michael Penix.
Right.
And they decided we're going to stay here. And you still owe this man, what, $95 million? I mean, come on, really?
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit more than 90 mil, I believe, is what the cap hit will be in 2027. He still technically has no trade clause on his contract right now, but I would not be surprised if the Falcons are going to go in the direction of keeping Michael Penix on the staff and looking at him being the starter. I wouldn't be surprised that Kurt decides to shred up that no trade clause because there are going to be a lot of teams that are going to be looking for an experienced quarterback to take over. I mean, there was already talk about Tua saying, yeah, change of scenery wouldn't be a bad idea. The Jets don't have a definitive quarterback right now. It sounds like they're kind of done with the experiment of Justin Fields and I can't remember who was with them up there. I think it was Tyrod Taylor that was also taking
Tyrod Taylor who got injured. I mean, you got quarterbacks. Some of these retreads, as Big Sweet was talking about, some of these retreads, they break down too. Yeah. They're just as old, if not older. So, I mean, if you're a young, vibrant organization, do it with one of those coaches. But if you're the New York Giants and people expect you to win right now, when we get a quarterback, you win right now, you got to go get you a veteran coach. And he's got to show that we mean business. We got to win. I mean, that's what it's about. It's a business. This is a business. And in those bigger cities, everybody expects to win. And, look, I think Shanahan is on a short leash now. If he doesn't win this year, get to a Super Bowl, he may be on the outs next year on the hot seat. Now, you guys will say, no. And I get it. Because they tore that whole team apart, and yet they're still winning.
So with that,
go ahead.
With that being said, Jamie, do you think the honeymoon's over for Dan Campbell? You think people are starting to think about him?
Yeah, the honeymoon is over. Once we didn't make the playoffs, that is Dan Campbell is in. He's on the hot. He is on the. Let's just call it a warm seat. He's on a very warm seat right now.
All right. I hear you loud and clear. Let me tell y'all how things have changed. When I was at the Lions, I negotiated contracts, and I negotiated Robert Porche's contract. Mm-hmm. Robert Porche was one of the guys we weren't sure, if he was going to be a star for us or if he was going to be marginal. So we did a 1-year deal. And at the end of that 1-year deal, it's time to, we're going to evaluate whether, he's worth it or is he going to go somewhere else. So we did the 1-year deal at our cap number that we wanted, and I guaranteed 10% of the contract, and I about lost my job for guaranteeing 10% of the contract. And I had to explain why I did that. And the reason was Robert was one of our team leaders. He kept himself in great shape. He was rarely hurt. So he's going to more than likely see, finalize that contract and see that contract without something happening to him. But I almost lost my job over that too. Now they're guaranteed. Every time we talk about all this guaranteed money and this 100% guaranteed. And look at the money we're talking about for Kirk Cousins, and that baffles me every time, man. And I know you got to keep up with the times, and you probably got to do that to compete nowadays. But I'm just showing you a difference of where the game was 20 years ago and where it is now.
No, you're right.
Yeah, go ahead, Jamie.
Go ahead, Miss.
No, go ahead, Jamie.
No, Miss, go ahead.
Well,
go ahead.
I mean, the thing is,
no, you do go ahead. No,
okay, well, one of us will go ahead, but I think when you look at the landscape, because I know a lot of people are, Jamie sent you and I an article, Sweet. It was either yesterday or earlier on in the week, and had to do with, let's just be honest, the minorities coaching in the college ranks, and. I think a lot of people are surprised that, there's only one African-American that's coaching in the Big Ten. And I think a lot of people were in the article, or people that were commenting on that piece, that they were surprised that there were none in the SEC, to which I counter with, are you sure you want to ask that? You're really shocked about that? Really?
Exactly.
But at the same time, when you look at the NFL, I thought that Raheem Morris was a great fit for Atlanta. He's a guy that knows the organization well enough, and he's kind of helped develop some of these guys that have been there for a while, whether it was Drake London or Kyle Pitts on the offensive side of the ball. We've seen a lot of the talent on the defensive side of the ball. But I mean, the thing is that when you've got a guy like Mike Tomlin, who's been with the Steelers for, goodness, it seems like forever at this point, but he's continuously been on that, I don't want to say that 500 line, but he's been on that line where he's been successful enough to keep his job. But if he were to get fired by the Steelers after they get eliminated from the playoffs, there are going to be, of those 7 NFL openings currently open right now, there are going to be, I would say, 6, if not all 7 of those teams going, Mike Tomlin, what are you doing? You want to come coach? You want to come coach the Vegas Raiders? You want to come on over here and coach the New York Giants? You want to jump ship, stay in conference, and come coach the Cleveland Brownies? I can see that happening. That's the same thing with Raheem Morris. I think that he could pick up a head coaching job like that. That's just how good of a coach I think he is.
Well, let's have a grown-up conversation about that.
I like grown-up combos. Yeah.
Okay, grown-up conversation. Man, minorities are not asking for something special. Minority coaches just want a level playing field. Right. And when you think about it, 75% of the players are African American. So the percentage, I'm not sure the exact percentage, but there's how many? There's four African Americans head coaches. And then the number has increased a little bit at general manager, but I'm not saying special treatment. Make sure there are special rules or anything, but just have a level playing field. If an African American is qualified, and give him an honest to goodness shot, just like you give others a first shot. And make the playing field level. That's all I'm saying. Even I personally, in this personal grown-up conversation we're having, I'm a one and done. I had a shot in the NFL as an executive, and you know what? My credentials probably blow 75% of the guys out of the water that have general manager's job. I tell you why. Not only did I do personnel, cuts, drafts, trade, free agency, and all that, I did the business side as well. I did contracts. I did all the operations and all of that. And I did it simultaneously, which is unheard of. You know, in the NFL, you're either a personnel guy or you're an administrative guy. I did both at the highest levels at the same time. But I think there's a third thing that I bring to the table. I'm a former player. I understand the locker room. I could get things done in the locker room. I could tell you some stories of contracts that I've done with players where I went around the agent because, you know, agents were doing their job, but I called the player personally and talked to him and explained to him man to man of why we're offering them this and that. And they disputed their agent and they've signed a contract based upon the relationship and the respect I've given them and they have for me. Teams, some owners are missing that aspect when you don't consider. I'm not saying every team needs to go out and hire minorities. Don't get me wrong. But some teams are definitely missing the opportunity to make their team better by not being diverse or not being open-minded to some guys. There's some guys look, when I say these names, you can look them up. George Stewart. Look at a guy like George Stewart. 20-some years in the NFL as an assistant coach, should have had a head coaching job. Frank Bush, another gentleman that should have been a head coach and now that's on the coaching level. Now, if you want to talk about the management level, you got a Larry Lee. You got several guys who deserve opportunities as general managers that don't, because that's when you hear me complaining about the same old names being tossed around in the circle all the time. That's why I get passionate about that, because come on, you know, how new blood sometimes is good. New blood is good. That's what heals. Sometimes new blood heals a lot of wounds, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, for the longest time, about 4, 5, maybe 6 years ago, you know, the one hot name that was being, you know, tossed around was Eric Bieniemy. And that was to me, when the Lions were in the search for their new head coach, you could probably ask Sam, I could probably even attest to that. I'm like, hell yeah, I'd like to see Eric Bieniemy coach the Lions. I think, you know, what he had done as an OC in Kansas City, I thought, dude, if he can be a whisperer the way he was to Patrick Mahomes, I think he can be a stud for, at the time, Matt Stafford. I think he could have helped develop that running room. I think he could have helped out just the all around, you know, with an offensive mindset. But obviously, he decided to go a different way. He went out to I believe he went out to your alma mater and went to UCLA.
I was involved in getting in there. Yeah.
See, so I mean, the thing is I still think the door should be wide open for him to get a head coaching job in the NFL. I know he may not have the, you know, maybe the same accomplishment since leaving Kansas City, but he's still, I think, got a great mindset in terms of coaching. And in terms of the GM stuff, I mean, obviously one of the big ones that stands out, because at the time no one took the signing serious, was Brad Holmes. When he came out, I mean, we knew that he was a part of the Rams organization, but no one really knew how high up in that room he was. But we learned to find out, especially over the past 3-4 years since he's really kind of gotten the roots down. He is that guy. He finds the diamond in what other organizations look at as being coal.
I give you a couple other names. Louis Riddick. Louis Riddick is capable of being a general manager in the league.
That's the guy for me. Yeah. I love Louis Riddick. He knows the insides and outside. He learns the one thing. Louis Riddick, his credentials. I mean, he learned from Andy Reid.
Yeah.
So he knows it up and down. He knows the inside and the out. And he would be a great GM.
on the coaching front, Jamie, I'm gonna give you another name that got overlooked back in the day, Terry Robisky.
Oh, Terry Robisky really got overlooked. But see, he's on that borderline too, though, Sweet. Remember?
Yeah, Terry had, Terry was one of them straightforward talking kind of guys who that's a whole different subject. How sometimes some folks can handle an African American being a straightforward kind of straight shooter, and I think that's somewhat of my. I'm an older gentleman now, but some of might be some of my issue. Being honest, is that I'm a straight shooter, man. I'm gonna tell you, and I know how to be professional. I'm very articulate and tactful and everything, and how to say it. But a lot of folks don't want to hear straight shooting coming from a brother. I'm just being honest. A lot of people can't handle it.
They want you to shuck and drive. They want you to shuck and drive.
and when this is I'm sorry to take over the conversation like this, but this is my I'm telling you guys my life. There came a time where every hiring season, like now, I'd go to the combine with my resume in hand, and everyone knows me. And when I was in the office, oh, Larry, great. No, Larry Lee, man. Oh yeah, Larry, what's up, man? We love you. And now I'm available, and there's crickets, and go to the combine and all. So after a point, I just got tired. I just got tired of chasing, and then I hear the same names getting tossed around. Some guys got 3 or 4 jobs and 4 or 5 jobs when I can't get the second one. And I have, with my credentials, not only as an administrator, but a personnel guy as well. That means that they're not looking at my resume. That means that they're just hiring names or who the media is saying or that kind of thing. So it got frustrating for me. And that's why I don't pursue it anymore. The good Lord will take care of me and handle me. And he gave me other talents beside that. And I picked my bass guitar back up, and I've been having fun for 20 some years since. But that's the plight. That's the plight of an African American executive in the NFL.
The one thing because I know we'll take a break here in a moment, but you brought up Louis Riddick, like that was when the search for a general manager was coming around for the Lions. Like that was one of the ones that I think I was even kind of pounding the table for. Like this guy doesn't just know talking ball on ESPN. The guy, has played the ball. He's played the sport. He knows how to relate to the players as well. We kind of see that going forward. And I think that's what makes a team as successful as they are. If they've had a close relation with the NFL, and they've gone on and they focus on the front office stuff rather than the coaching stuff.
Real quick, I know we got to go to break, but let me give you another name. Look it up. Trey Brown. Trey Brown was a part of the personnel team at the Eagles when they won that first Super Bowl a few years ago. Okay. And he's since then been with the Bengals. And he's like the assistant general manager at the Bengals, who went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Trey Brown should have been a general manager 5-10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean he's been with different organizations. I mean he started out as a scouting assistant, working in the scouting department with the Patriots. You mentioned working as in the scouting department with the Eagles, and having a couple short stints with the USFL or XFL with the St. Louis Battlehawks, and obviously right now with the Bengals. And he must have been something good, because if he was a scout with the Bengals the year after, or I believe the first or second year he was there, when they got to the Super Bowl in LA, tells you that the guy knows his stuff. And I think that's the big thing. If you give a guy an opportunity, give him that opportunity. So
that's all I'm saying, Miz. That's an opportunity. Be fair. Let's be fair.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of there. There was a little grin on my face when the news came around that Pete Carroll got let go from Vegas. I'm like, he'd been away from the game, I think, a little too long, and he thought maybe he can dust off those old New Balance shoes and get back on the sideline. But I just think the game just got a little too quick and a little too modern for him since him leaving Seattle.
And there are those who are saying, well, you brothers have not done so well in the walking the straight and narrow, i.e., the past at Michigan. So I understand that. I understand it. Let's just be fair, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just be honest and fair. That's all I preach. That's all I ask.
Yeah, we did get a text that did come in saying, talking about what about more women in the coaching scene, and I agree. The one that stood out to me the most. Go ahead, Jamie.
I'm gonna tell you what. I know we're talking inside the organizations, but if you watch women in the refereeing business, they will to the spot. They know when they set the ball is set. Mm-hmm. And whether they don't give you an extra. The men give you extra yards here to the right, extra yard to the left. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. They just it was close to this. Yeah, it's right here. No, I'm gonna do it to the mark. I'm just telling you, it's crazy.
The one that stood out when I responded back to the texter was Mikey Mo's sister when she was working as a GA with Jimmy a few years back. Like she's got something that I think could appeal to not just the college game, but I think even the pros can look at it. And I know there's some others that are with some of the with the NFL organizations that aren't coming to mind at this point right now for me, but I know that that we are seeing a great influx of not the good old boys, white man coaching aspect of things, but we are seeing a lot more diversification along the NFL, and I think that's something that needs to happen. And this ain't no political thing. It's just me saying that I think that it's time to break that bond. It's time to bust through that little glass window, and let's get some of these, let's get some people more opportunities that aren't just the typical names that we hear all the time.
Sure. Well, the Raiders organization have women involved. The Broncos have women involved. From ownership and everything. I agree, man. It's a new day and time, man. Let's utilize all the talents that folks have, and I just this is how can I say this? This is serious to me because I've lived it. I've been affected by it. And I'm sharing my heart with the listeners. That it bothers me. It bothers me. So, all right, I know we got to go to break.
That's right. We're gonna hit a break. Jamie, will you stick with us on the other side of the break?
It's just me and CJ now, so probably not because he's gonna yell and scream in a few minutes and say, "Hey."
Will you tell them? You tell CJ that Uncle Miss says behave, or you won't get a black and white cookie. Okay, so you better behave.
Go.
That's one way of doing it. Jamie, we'll talk with you tomorrow on the show. Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right.
Jamie will be back with us tomorrow. There is a little programming note for tomorrow, by the way. We will be cutting out a little bit on the early side as Michigan women's basketball are out at Penn State. So they'll be following suit what the men had. Hopefully there'll be a little bit better outcome than the men did yesterday, but they'll be out there with pregame coverage at 5:45, tip-off at 6 o'clock right here on the Big 1050 WTK. But on the other side, we'll open up the phones, 734-998-1050, text line, the same number. And, of course, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube at the Big 1050 WTK and, of course, the M Zone Facebook page. And this is a question that kind of goes with what you were bringing up earlier, Big Sweet, with obviously the departure of John Harbaugh from the Baltimore Ravens. If he were to come knocking on the door of the Detroit Lions, would you go John Harbaugh, or would you stick with Motor City Dan Campbell? I've got some stats that could definitely change some people's minds. whether for the good or for the bad. So we'll get into that on the other side of the break as you're listening to the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTKA and online at thebig1050.com. And we are clear, so I will send the stream. I'll send the stream to commercial, and we'll come back with the question of the day and the people. Okay, sweet.
All right. Yep.
All right, we'll be right back.
This is the M Zone.
Open it.
Hey, welcome to the Big Can 15. You got Matt, the Hitman Missler, best man in the business.
Yeah.
And you got Larry on the West Coast. Yeah.
Even when he's not here, we still got to dog our guy Jamie, so you know that we have to. 734-998-1050 is the number. We will keep the phone lines open for a bit. Big Sweet's going to be dipping out at about 5:30. He got a doctor appointment to take care of, and Jamie's out doing daddy duty stuff. So question of the day, you can call or text in at that number, or if you're watching on our social media platforms, you can weigh in the chat. John Harbaugh, no longer head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, but if he came a knocking on the front door of the Fords and said, I want to be the head coach of your Detroit Lions, put on your GM cap. Who are you taking? You taking MCDC or are you taking John Harbaugh? And I'd like to know why you would go in that direction. And if you're not going to have him be the head coach, where do you think a good landing spot would be for him? Because there's currently, there's technically 7, but obviously with him being let go from one of those 7, it kind of dwindles down to 6 at this point. So we'll get to that here in a moment. Sweet. I got a nice little, a little bit of some statistics for you if you are interested, my friend.
Yes, sir.
So while you guys were chatting with our good friend John Borden from the Wolverine, I decided to compile a little comparison. It's only a 5 bullet point one because it's tough to get to try to do math and get some stats over a 5-6 year period, which is the time frame that Dan Campbell has been the coach of the Lions, comparing it to John Harbaugh. But what I was able to do was come up with this little bit right here as little coaching comparisons here for both of those coaches. We'll start off with the winning percentage here.
Yeah.
In terms of in a whole, John Harbaugh has a 61% winning percentage compared to Dan Campbell's 56.5.
Okay.
In terms of 500 or lower seasons, John Harbaugh has got 5. Dan Campbell only 1. And that was obviously his first season here in Detroit.
18 years versus 5.
Mm-hmm. And actually, I did trim it up. I did compare, and I know it doesn't show it, but in that time span, Harbaugh has 2 seasons of 500 or lower football as a coach of the Ravens. Again, Dan only with 1. Okay. Points per game, just this past year alone, the Lions averaged 28.3 points per game. Meanwhile, the Ravens 24.9. And yes, I know people will make the comparison of, well, they're without Lamar Jackson. They had the injury bug. Defensively, Harbaugh's defense does trump Dan Campbell's 23.6 points allowed per game compared to 24.3. But the division title stuff is where it's a draw. Both of them, since Dan Campbell took over the head coaching position with the Detroit Lions, both the Ravens and the Lions had 2 division crowns since 2021.
Okay.
So with those stats that I have brought up with you, Big Sweet,
yeah,
I'm gonna put you right back into that GM position spot again. Are you going John Harbaugh? Or are you sticking to your guns with MCDC Dan Campbell?
So with that being said, some of the stats that you have given are misleading because they're 2025 stats that don't take into account some of the great things that John Harbaugh has done over the course of his career, like the Super Bowl year. What were the stats of that Super Bowl year that they had with that defense that was unbelievable and that kind of thing? So I take that into account. And then on the other hand, to just outright fire Dan Campbell right now would not be fair either. And, I'm a fair guy too. And that wouldn't just be fair just because he hasn't earned the right to be fired yet. It may come to that, but maybe not right. So to answer the question, to replace, I think John Harbaugh is a better coach than Dan Campbell, but I wouldn't say to replace him with, if you had the chance to replace him right now, I would do that to Dan Campbell, because that would not be fair to Dan Campbell in a sense. Am I making sense?
No, it makes complete sense, and that was the reason why, like, the whole, like I said, I would say more of like I guess playing a devil's advocate, so to speak.
Yeah, I get it.
The what if scenario. If Dan Campbell were on the proverbial hot seat, which I don't think he is, I think it's like Jamie said, I think maybe if you had like a warming burner on your stove, it's on the lowest setting, I think, right now.
But if you were to ask me if they both were available, which one would I take? I'd take John Harbaugh in a minute.
Okay. I think that would be the one I'd go with. So the hypothetical, Lions are looking for a new head coach, Dan Campbell, John Harbaugh, you would go with the trusty veteran in John Harbaugh.
Yes.
I got you. That's essentially what the question of the day is. So you can, again, weigh in by calling in at 734-998-1050. You can text in at that same number. The Big 1050 text line is open for that. Or if you're watching us on stream on YouTube or Facebook, you can always comment in the chat, and we will highlight those comments as we go along. But we'll hit the phones right now at the phone number 734-998-1050. We'll head down to Columbus and talk with Hadley. What's up, Hadley?
This is a weighty question there, man. This is a good one. Let's see. Well, he's in his he just finished. Campbell just finished his 5th year. He's had only one losing season, right?
Yep, his first season in 2021.
Took him to the playoffs 2 years later, and he's been he's been in the playoffs twice now, right? In his 5 years.
Yep, the 2 playoff appearances were division crowns. Yep.
Well, just a few more things to throw at you about John Harbaugh. He's the 3rd winningest active coach. Well, I know he's not active, just technically, but he's the 3rd active winning coach in the NFL, only behind Andy Reid and the Pittsburgh coach.
And Mike Tomlin, correct? Yeah.
Right.
Or Mike Tomlin, yeah. Did you know that?
I wasn't. I kind of had a feeling that Andy Reid was probably the active one, but as far as being like after that, I wouldn't have thought. I guess I would have, if you told me Mike Tomlin being at number 2, I'd say, you know what, I can see that. I can see that. And as far as with John, I mean, with him being in Baltimore for 18 years, and I think he's only missed the playoffs about 5 times, I think, in his career in Baltimore. So, yeah, I mean, that doesn't surprise me that he's currently number 3. And again, you kind of go with coaches that haven't retired, I guess, because I mean, Pete Carroll would probably be up in that conversation as well with his time that he's had with Seattle. Well,
Andy Reid just finished his 26th year, I think. I think he started in 99, and then Philly, and of course, Kansas City and stuff. So he has 301 career wins, which ranks right up there all time too. So he has had his chances, but now this is his first really bad year with Kansas City, right?
I would. I mean, there could be some pre Patrick Mahomes time. I mean, when he took over, they weren't, I think a lot of people just know about the modern stuff where he took over in Kansas City and everyone thought everything was successful. But this, I believe, looking at the stats, this is his first losing season in KC, but the only other time that he missed the playoffs, being the Chiefs head coach, was 2014. But yeah, I would say this is definitely the worst that he's had since his last year in Philadelphia in 2012.
And he's won 3 Super Bowls, right?
Yes, 3 Super Bowls, all with Kansas City.
Well, and to answer your question, but Harbaugh having so much experience and everything like that, and if it came down to it, to where we had to choose between Dan Campbell, this is his first time as a head coach in the NFL, correct?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he was interim head coach of the Dolphins for a period.
Oh, okay. But so technically, he's only been 5 years as a coach, and and I don't look at his age either for Harbaugh. I think he's still got lots of moxie left.
62, something like that.
Yeah. I would have to pick Harbaugh too, and I'm not being a homer about it. I just think he could bring the Lions to the playoffs and possibly win another Super Bowl. So I'll have to go with my Mr. Harbaugh. And Larry Lee, quick question: have you heard any updates about UCLA getting players in or players leaving in the portal and all that stuff?
No, you know what? That's something. I'm glad you brought that up, Hadley. That's something I need to look into and check out. I've been kind of busy with some other things. This Ken Easley Memorial that's coming up next on the 17th, and so I haven't been involved with UCLA much since the hiring of the coach. So I'm glad you brought that up. I need to get to that.
Yeah, well, we're an equal opportunity team thing here, Larry Lee. So, we share both. We both have everything in common and stuff like that. So, yeah, once you learn some about that, I'd be curious to see where that is.
I'm glad you asked, Hadley, because I can go ahead and give you an update in terms of how the transfer portal is looking for Big Sweet's UCLA Bruins, as there are some players that have come out of the portal to come join UCLA, and it shouldn't be a surprise that a lot of them are coming from James Madison, with their former coach taking over the head job over there in Los Angeles, including Wayne Knight, who's a 3-star running back, DJ Barksdale, who is a 3-star cornerback, and 3-star wide receiver Landon Ellis moved from James Madison over to UCLA, along with John Pfeiffer, a 3-star tight end, have committed. But there are a couple in the area that have moved on, including a 4-star wideout, Aiden Meisel, who's transferring from Florida to UCLA, and another wide receiver, Leland Smith from San Jose State, who's coming to UCLA, a 3-star wideout himself. So
thanks, Miss.
Yeah, there are a lot of guys, and like I said, you should not be surprised that there are. Goodness gracious, the bracket got busted again. There are a lot of guys from JMU that are going to be making that move from Virginia, heading out to Southern California. There are a lot. I think a lot of people have obviously here are focused on the Michigan aspect of things, but UCLA has been making a lot of moves. I can tell you that.
Maybe it'll work out for us like it did for Indiana.
It might be the case. That's what I've been kind of hoping that would happen for you at the very least. That the properties, the property correlation will hopefully follow suit with UCLA like it did with Indiana.
Yes, sir. Hopefully.
All right, guys. Well, it's always a short conversation, but we'll do more tomorrow. And Miz, you got to do it one more time. The drop. Give me what I want.
I'll give you what you want.
Give me what I want.
Appreciate it there, Hadley.
All right, Hadley. Take care, man.
Dave Batista making sure you're taking care of business. 734-998-1050 is the number. God, I think this has got to be a new guy that's called, because I've heard this guy call it before at the very least. Tyler, Whitmore Lake. What's going on, man?
Hey, how are you? Yeah, this is my first time calling.
Hey, Tyler, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you. So what's on your mind, big dog? What would you do in this situation if you were the GM of the Lions and Dan Campbell and John Harbaugh were available to be your head coach? What's on your mind with that?
Well, I'm coming from a slightly different perspective because I'm actually a Falcons fan, born and raised in Atlanta.
Okay.
And I remember the moment when Dan Quinn lost the locker room, because it wasn't after the bad Super Bowl. It wasn't the year after. It was it was during the year after, right? And I think you can't move on John, because you got to give Dan Campbell a chance to keep the locker room.
Right.
And so that's the biggest piece for me, is seeing how he responds to this kind of mediocre year. And I know, that means that John Harbaugh is not going to be available next year, but I mean, that's just, you have to give Dan the opportunity to keep it going.
Right. I got you there. Yeah. So then in this devil's advocate kind of situation, let me ask you this. If with John Harbaugh being essentially a free agent head coach here and the 6 other openings that are there, where do you think the best spot for him is at then?
Oh, yeah. I'd love to see him in Atlanta.
I mean, he's got. It's. I'll be honest with you. I found a little article from Yahoo Sports that was ranking the seven job titles that are as far as coaching jobs that are open. And yeah, not surprised. Baltimore at number 1, but the Atlanta Falcons at number 2. There's a lot of great young talent that your fandom squad has got, man. Like, Michael Penix, he come back from his injury next year. Got a lot of young talent at wide out. The defense is probably the one thing that not a lot of people are really paying too much attention to, but that could be a good spot for him right there. You end up getting essentially almost a younger version of a Lamar Jackson in Michael Penix. You just got to hope that maybe you can find a way to see if Kirko Thugs can pull that no trade clause out.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Well, and I'm just hoping that, we've got Bijan, of course, and he's great. I'm spoiled. The past couple of years, it's been a lot of fun being able to watch the Lions and the Falcons. They play somewhat similarly as far as the run game recently, and so it's been fun to watch both. But if John Harbaugh ends up in Atlanta, that's I think it would be pretty dangerous, especially how soft the NFC South is.
It really is. I mean,
I'm a dirty bird.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, do you? I hate to ask this, but do you happen to have Carolina Panther friends that are calling you up and saying, "Hey, thank you for getting us into the playoffs this year"?
I do not have any friends, Carolina Panthers friends. No, I wouldn't associate with them.
All right.
Smart, like anyone here in Michigan being associated with any Buckeyes. Unfortunately, I've got a friend of mine that is a Buckeye, but at the very least, him and I are both, we give each other enough, flack each and every year when it comes to things. So at the very least, we got that going for you. But what else on your mind, Tyler? What else you got for us, big dog?
I was just going to praise, Indiana, coming from SEC, from the SEC nation. I've got a lot of friends that believe in a certain way, but after moving up here and with NIL money being the way it is and the fandoms, I mean, I had no doubt in my mind that the Big Ten was going to come through heavy against the SEC, and that trend is going to continue.
Yeah, like Larry just said, it's a new day. I mean, who'd have thunk that we could potentially be seeing the three group of states, Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana, going back to back national titles? Who'd have thunk at that point?
That would be something, yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's beyond nuts. And hey, Ole Miss is I got a friend that does play-by-play for EMU football, and he does a great little side thing called Hooked on Helmets, and he breaks down all like the NFL helmet stuff. And like I'm a little like the one game, like I think Indiana has got a good chance to go back to back with Oregon, but that Ole Miss Miami game, whew,
yeah.
I don't know if I can.
Fun.
I don't know if I can pick a winner in that one. I think that one might be a little too close to call. Whether it's a team that is kind of playing as a little, telling the head coach, their former head coach, that he's number one, but not the number one he's expecting, or do you go with the underdog, or do you go with the underdog that kind of did enough gift to gab to persuade the committee to say keep the Catholics out and put the convicts in.
Well, and I mean, Notre Dame did not get snubbed. Join a conference. You have to take the extra risk on the extra game. It's just what it is. And maybe Alabama got in because of their pedigree rather than their performance this year. But that's I guess the cost of admission. For the past 15 years, the CFB has been the Alabama Invitational. So and I've been telling people for the past couple of years that Ole Miss has been slept on because they have a crazy high power offense, and they're a lot of fun to watch.
Yes,
you're absolutely right.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in, man. For the first time, don't make it the last time.
That's right. I'll be back.
Appreciate
All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. We appreciate you, Tyler. And we're going to take a break. Larry, I know you said you got a little doctor's appointment, so I'll hang out with the people for the last half hour. And like I said, we'll continue the calls rolling through and see what comes up through chats. But Larry, we'll chat with you tomorrow, my man, okay?
Appreciate you, man. See you, miss. Yep.
Absolutely. 734-998-1050 is the number. We'll get to more of your calls, texts, and comments on stream on Facebook and YouTube on the other side of the break here on the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTKA and online at thebig1050.com. Be back in a minute.
This is the M Zone.
Back here on the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTKA online, the Big1050.com. It's just you and me. Jamie Morris on daddy duty. Hit the drop me.
Daddy chill.
That's right. Larry Lee, well, he had to go. He's got a doctor appointment. So it's just you and me for this last half hour of the show at 734-998-1050. You can call, you can text, or I'm streaming on our YouTube channel at the Big 1050 WTKA, along with our Facebook outlets on the Big 1050 and the M Zone Facebook. Obviously, John Harbaugh, probably the hottest head coach that's available after his termination yesterday from the Baltimore Ravens. So the question is, and we kind of a little devil's advocate here, if you're the GM and Dan Campbell and John Harbaugh were available, who are you hiring as a head coach? And you can weigh in there, or if you want, where do you think John Harbaugh would be a best fit at? There's 7 openings, but obviously one of those 7 he would not be a perfect fit for because that was his old job with the Baltimore Ravens. So which of these 6 other jobs do you think he would fit into? Those openings are Atlanta, the Giants, the Raiders, the Titans, the Browns, and the Cardinals. Now, I'll tell you this much. The Cardinals, no. I don't think that's a fit for them. That's a huge rebuild in itself because I don't even know what the status of Kyler Murray is going to be. Cleveland, there may be a little bit of promise there. I mean, you've got a promising Shedeur Sanders at least looking pretty decent in Cleveland. Dylan Gabriel, what the organization is going to do with those 2 guys in terms of going into their second year. And I hate to bring it up, but Deshaun Watson, could potentially be available to come back next year, depending on how his recovery has gone. The Titans, you still have some promise with Cam Ward. I mean, he looked pretty good at the end of the season this year, but the question is, does he move the needle in terms of of a coach wanting to keep him as a quarterback? Or do you think he needs another year maybe to have him get a chance to learn from a veteran? Seems like Joe Flacco never wants to retire. What about the Raiders? I mean, they've got the number 1 pick. Are they going to go with Heisman Mendoza? Where there's been a lot of talk about Dante Moore after Oregon is done with their season, that he may declare for the NFL draft. The Giants, they've got a lot of young keys that give a little bit of promise for the future. The question is can they keep Jackson Dart healthy enough, offensive line wise? Or what about the Falcons with, when you get Michael Penix back, from his injury woes, can they develop him? Would that be a fit for John Harbaugh to help develop him like they developed Lamar Jackson? And, of course, the Ravens. Obviously, John's not going to go back with the Ravens, but the head coaching opening there gives a little bit of promise and makes you scratch your head a little bit. Before we go back to the phone, do you want to highlight this message that John Green on YouTube had sent? Yeah, like I said, we were off the past couple of weeks. A little bit of company and programming decision to take those last 2 weeks off of 2025. So that was the reason why we were off the air. And yes, I know a lot of people were texting in and tweeting at us saying, how dare we not be on? Listen, it was still in early stages of Kyle Whittingham being hired. So I don't know what we could have said that would have made things a little bit easier at the very least. But I appreciate you, John. Yep, working next door on the country station, so I've been kind of doing stuff over there. And of course, the hair don't want to work with me on stream, but that's here nor there. But phone lines are open, text lines are open, and of course, chat is open on YouTube and Facebook. Let's head to Philly and talk to Philly E. What's up, my man?
Hey, what's up, dude? How you doing? It's amazing that we had this conversation on Monday, and at least I was saying nobody should be getting fired over this field goal being made or missed one way or another, either
right.
Coach. You do have to ask yourself, if he does make that field goal, are we having this same conversation about Tomlin today? Jamie seems to think if they're out in the first round that he's out anyway. So.
Well, I know that I knew for the longest time, like regardless of where the Steelers kind of, how their action went in terms of how their season went or whether they went to the playoffs, like he'd always been in conversations about whether he was on the hot seat or not. So, I mean, I don't think even if he gets eliminated, if the Steelers get eliminated in the first round by the Texans on Monday night, I don't know. I don't think he'll get let go. I think they might keep him around for another year because I think a little bit has to help. It helps out with Aaron having a little bit of the success at the end of the season, and on top of that too, who are you going to take? Who are you going to pick up to take up the slack next year? Because I mean, this is Aaron Rodgers' last year in the NFL. He's announced that unless he decides to go on another trip with the help of some substance and change his mind after that.
Yeah. Well, in terms of Harbaugh, I don't think this is a case of him losing the locker room. This could be the case of maybe it's a strained relationship between him and Lamar. You heard all that stuff last week. Yeah, there's that one report. The kid was sleeping in meetings and he's up playing video games and all that crap. And that's kind of like, what does that really mean? Or does that just mean that there's just a strained relationship? And we all know that when push comes to shove, it's not going to be the coach. It's not going to be the coach that's going to be sticking around. It's the star quarterback because that's going to be harder to find. This is a Magic Westhead, situation. I mean, it was either Magic or Westhead. They kicked Westhead to the curb, and it's not like Pat Riley was like this brimming guy on the verge of greatness. He had basically no experience.
Right.
So they're going to bring a guy in. My question is, if you're going to get rid of John Harbaugh, who the hell are you really bringing in? I mean, that's the $64,000 question for me. Is like if you're going to get rid of somebody that decorated, who are you bringing in, dude? That's what I mean. You better have a viable answer for this before you pull the trigger on this move.
That's a really good question. I know our guy, Eric from South Carolina had commented on in the chat on Facebook. He said about Jesse Minter taking over with the Ravens. It's not a bad idea, but can he get an offensive coordinator or a guy that can help Lamar develop more as well?
Well, I have a question about that. There's a lot of people that think that if John was available 2 weeks ago, that he wouldn't have taken the Michigan job out of respect for Jim and how it was left, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Could you say the same thing? Do you really like Jesse? Do you think Jesse's going to leave Jim to go replace his brother who got fired by the Raven organization? There's 9 million jobs. I'm not saying there's a lot of opportunities out there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I'm just saying. Yeah, it's something to consider.
Right. I see where you're coming from with that too. I think. I think a little bit would add, considering the loyalties that Jesse has had with Jim, it would make you wonder maybe after the playoffs are done, after the Chargers get bounced, whether it's, in the first round matchup with the Pats, do they sit down in the office and, and say, hey, I love it here in LA, but I'd like to be a head coach again, and maybe they have a sit down conversation. Because I think there is a mutual respect between Jim and Jesse with that, and at the very least, especially with it being John's former employer, that there's got to be a little bit of respect, and that you do talk with with your coach, who's the brother of the guy that just got fired too. So
yeah, it's a little weird. And you got to understand, what does he really want? Does he want to have his own quarterback, or does he want someone in place already? I really think that the best place for him, and I'm just looking at it, he's an older guy. He's 64 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you he would feel more secure with the Maras They've been in the business for a zillion years. And time will tell you. History tells us when the Giants have the right coach in place, they thrive.
Yeah.
When they have bozos in the place, they get eaten alive by the New York media. So I'll throw out Parcells, Reeves, Coughlin. 3 good coaches, for obvious reasons, and they all did very well in New York. I'm not even going to throw the Jets out there.
No,
they're a whole different. It's a whole different organization, eh?
The Jets are completely another kind of show, and I can't say the word that usually goes in front of the word show for that one, at least.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is. They won they won the most important game in NFL history, and the gods have been just stabbing in the heart ever since January 12th, 1969. Anyway. But I'm just saying, if I'm him, that's probably where I'd go. And you got your choice. You have this young quarterback, or do you trade up to get a Fernando? I don't know, but that's where I think he's going to go. That's how I'm looking at it. What was the other thing? The interesting thing is, and I just heard this today, and I never even considered it. What about Cignetti to the NFL?
Ooh.
Where he could actually, and if it's the Jets or wait, who's got the pick? It's the Raiders, right?
Raiders have got the number 1 pick. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, that's part of your pitch, right? It's part of your pitch where, you come bring your staff to the National Football League and you get Fernando Mania right out of the gate.
I mean, you're able to develop him more, when he transferred from Cal to Indiana. It wouldn't be a bad thing. I think the real question, would be, if he ends up completing the ultimate perfect season, and he decides to jump to the NFL, because I know that's that's a talk that no one has had yet. But how much of the Indiana alumni base, or even like the AD, the athletic director, how are they going to do? Considering too the craziness of the head coaching spots at like how Michigan and Penn State, they were looking at other coaches and like they offered some big lucrative contracts to the guys that were being flirted with. So it makes you wonder, would Indiana go down that same road as they did with BYU and Arizona State with their coaches?
Well, and something else to consider too, and you brought it up. What if they win?
Yeah.
And the fact that he's 64 years old and he just climbed the ultimate mountaintop and brought Indiana to a national championship, and you're turning 65 years old, can you turn around and say, I'm looking at college football, and you guys keep using this word, this is unsustainable what's going on in college football right now.
Mm-hmm.
You just won a national championship. You get to choose your kid first overall, in I guess it's May. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at 65 years old, if he's ever going to make a run at the National Football League, it pretty much has to be right now, this second. And it might be a better option for him the next 4 years in the National Football League, because of where college football is going right now. It's insane.
Yeah, it is.
So that's just one thing to consider. But in terms of last night, I got to say, and by the way, your boy, the book, I'm going to call the book the crook, because he basically made all my points. He basically made all my points. And I'd say the biggest point is they have to be really careful about Mara in the late stages of a close game. You really got to have to sub him. You got to be really crafty about subbing him in and out, because you don't want him on the foul line in a big spot, yet he's such the ultimate rim protector, and he's tall enough to get the biggest rebounds on misses, that you almost have to have him out there. Surely on the last possession, you have to have him out there because he's going to protect the rim. But like outside of that, man, you got to be really crafty, because if he ends up with that ball and he ends up with a foul line, I have zero confidence of him making free throws.
Yeah.
So, but I will say this. I thought Penn State was just awful in that last possession. Like, the ball didn't move, and if the ball doesn't move, the defense doesn't move, and you don't create opportunities for a quality look. And the fact that we forced him so far out of the perimeter, by the time like it was less than 4 seconds, I don't know if you noticed this, but what a beautiful switch off. And that's what really made it. That when they had that beautiful switch off at the perimeter, and that kid had to throw, literally it was a prayer. It wasn't even far from a quality look. So that was magic. But hey, you know what? When you're a good team, you got to win some of these ugly games. And I'll be honest with you, man. When I was looking in the stands yesterday on TV, that place was freaking empty. So I'm not giving Penn State like the ultimate. They played a great game. I think they played down to the stretches. They started playing well, but that first half we easily could have put them away because Penn State really wasn't playing very well. But our kids were playing down to our level because you look around, there's nobody there. It's like you're farting around a game in the street, and it's a weeknight and it's cold, and it's just one of these. It's kind of like the dog days. You kind of have to muddle through this kind of stuff. But I have a feeling if that place was jam-packed, I don't think our basketball team would have played like that. So anyway, I know you got to close this stuff up. Anyway, Miz, I appreciate you letting me talk, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Go Blue.
Appreciate it, Philly. Yeah, I agree with you. And the one thing I've known about in the time that I've had a little bit focus on college basketball, especially with the Big Ten, is that the Penn State's arena, was it Bright? I think I said the Bryce Joyner Center. The media wise, it's such a weird setup where, and I'm kind of revealing, pulling back the curtain on things when we do when Matt Park and I do the women's basketball coverage. And if you listen to the broadcast yesterday with Brian and Terry, radio, there is no like media on the floor. There's no media row like you do with Michigan. They adjusted this year with over at Chrysler Center, where they finally moved radio actually down by the scoring table. For the longest time, it was in the second bowl, in the upper bowl. That's where where radio was right in front of the media. So to change that up, where you should have radio like behind the scorer's desk with TV on the other side of the floor, the fan side. So like if you're watching the game on TV, where you've got, if you're looking at the bottom of your screen, that small short table at Chrysler Center, that's the TV side of things. On the north side of it, on the upper part of your screen, that's the scoring table, and in the row right behind it, that's where they put Brian and Terry and Matt when he does the women's games. Over there at Penn State, you're up in the suites. So like there's no like good able to like even get a little bit of an earshot of like what's being discussed by the officials. You do have a monitor that you can look at up there, but it's not much to go off of. So it's kind of like that arena is probably one of the weirdest ones in the Big Ten in terms of how things are set up radio wise. But on top of that too, yeah, it was kind of abysmal attendance. I think when T-Dub Wyrot, who is the SID, the sports information director for men's basketball, when he sent the box score out, they just had a little over 5,000 fans at the game last night. Now, again, I know Penn State not known for their basketball, but I would have thought that it's an anniversary game. You're going up against one of the top teams in the country, and it seemed like, according to Brian and Terry, that half of the attendance was Maize and Blue affiliated. Excuse me. So it does make you wonder a little bit, like how much that impacted the game for Michigan, that maybe getting a 50-50 attendance helped them out a little bit, kind of gave them I don't want to say a pseudo home game, but they got out of there with a win. They got lucky with that one, and hopefully they can shake that one off before they head out for their next road test, which doesn't happen for another week when they head out to the West Coast against Washington on the 14th and Oregon the 17th. But their next action is on Saturday when they take on Wisconsin at Chrysler Center. But that's going to do it for the show today. I thank everyone for being a part of the M Zone today. Thank you to John Borton and everyone for tuning in for everything that was Sports Wrap with Anthony Bellino and Lomas Brown coming up on the other side here on the radio side. For those watching on stream, I thank you for joining me, and we'll talk with you tomorrow right here on the M Zone on the Big 1050 WTKA and online at thebig1050.com.